going live right now. The Hangout on air is live, and it looks like we already have some listeners here. So,
oh goodness,
if you're out there watching this,
we're sorry that we didn't get it started correctly.
But we're not late. You guys are early.
That's true.
6 p.m. Central Time, so it's 5:46 here.
And now it says, look at your iPad. See how it says live?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, how do we communicate with those people who are here?
I don't know. I think they have, well, maybe, because if they're on the YouTube link, they're not live they're just watching.
Okay.
So they have to go to the link that was to the actual Hangout.
Which is available on our Facebook.
Right.
Okay.
And so they have to join that, then we should see them in a little box. If that doesn't work, I guess they're just going to be watching.
Okay.
Maybe we should have done like a live news episode or something before tonight to test this.
We're 15 minutes early.
That's true.
How bad would it be, though, if it just is a disaster today?
Yeah, that's
like, well, then next year for episode 600, will we try again?
Yeah.
That's not so bad.
Yeah. You learn from your mistakes.
So I'm just going to keep talking, and listeners, if you're out there watching this live and you want to chime in.
Yeah, you got to go to Facebook, first link. If you're on YouTube, you're in the wrong place. It's going to take you to Google Plus Hangouts, and then you've got to join up.
All right, so I see, should I say some names I see out there right now? I see Jordan is watching us right now. Doug over in Atlanta. I see Brandon, and I see someone who is going by the name of Gango.
Gango?
Yeah. I'm guessing that's not his or her first.
It could be, but
it could be.
Unlikely. Well, welcome, Gango.
And Brandon, Jordan, and Doug.
Ah, well, that's awesome.
All right, so hi, everybody. All right, so
I hope post on Facebook, reply to our comment, and just say that we don't know how this is working. Just let us know if you're hearing this, go put a comment out there and let us know. And I'm sorry if you saw the part I swore before we actually didn't know that we were. I hope that it's possible that went out. I don't know.
Well, and it won't be on the podcast,
right?
Thank goodness. But yeah, sorry for all our listeners. It's been, you know how we get sometimes.
It's just part of the verbal abuse. I get that before we start recording.
All right, so I was about to say for episode 400,
okay,
we had our listeners. I sent them some questions if I knew that they had heard every single episode. So one of our friends and listeners, Rick, did respond, but he responded a little late, and he didn't make it into episode 400. So for 100 episodes, saving his questions. It's a good time. You're shaking your head.
Oh, it's not relevant
this
now.
This is totally relevant.
No, because it's a whole segment.
Somebody is only listening to our milestone episodes.
New activity on your video.
Okay. What's that mean?
Hey guys, Gango is Alan. So they can hear us. That's fantastic.
Okay. Well, what is that? Why? You guys should start talking.
How do we use our mics? Well, Alan, you have to go out to the link. I don't know how you use your mics, but you have to join the Hangout. You have to join the Hangout. So you have to load up the Hangout page. That was the first link I gave, and then you have to click Start.
And remember, we learned when we tested on Sunday that it doesn't work in Firefox. So you have to use probably Google Chrome or Internet Explorer, but for sure Google Chrome will work because Google Hangout. Okay.
I did that. Does it say that you joined? I don't know.
So right now Ben is working with Alan.
Alan says he's there. Here, can we switch places for a couple minutes?
I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. Okay, let's do it. I guess at the beginning of this episode is not going to be great. Okay, here we go. No, that's not.
Okay, everyone. I'm trying to get Alan on the air.
Hey, everybody. Oh, man, this spot sucks. This is where you always sit.
I kept it warm for you.
All right.
So, Alan, it says that you're not in here right now. I'm looking at the people who are in there, but I tell you what, I'm going to send you an invitation.
So I kind of feel like this episode's actually going to start in about 10 minutes. So if you're listening right now, yes, we're here in episode 500, but the good's 10 minutes.
Well, we could edit some of this
I don't really want to edit. This is it. This is the live big episode. This is what it's all about.
Well, this is kind of good because now they get to see you for a little bit.
Hey, everybody.
I got to figure out how to invite people here.
This is not going to be good for the air.
What a disaster.
So you have to invite every individual person? What about the link?
I don't think so. Well, I thought the link worked.
Ben. One job, Ben. I guess I could talk about something. Do you want to give me a subject to talk about? I can't. You have all my notes over there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go to the link and see what happens.
Okay. So we're
Okay,
going
so
to
they
test
went
this
to
out
the
with
link.
Alan right now.
Well, no, I'm testing it out with myself.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to the link, try and log in
Okay.
and see what happens.
That's great.
Okay, so everyone, yeah. So let's see. Let's see where it says play.
Okay. What's
And
happening
okay,
right
I
now?
see the people who are watching.
Yep.
And how do I join up? Oh, I'm going to sign in. Okay, now I'm going to sign in. So this, you guys have already all done this. Sorry, everyone.
That's fine. I mean, this is what a live episode's about. I mean, when people tuned into episode 500, they weren't expecting our best stuff. I mean, it's a celebration episode.
That's true.
And it's a self-celebration. Like
Man, I don't remember my password.
we are doing something that we want to do for episode 500. It's not about the people.
I got it.
Actually, isn't it? What do we call this?
It's celebration.
Yeah.
So it's about
Jubilees for the listeners.
Right.
At the end of the
Exactly. Well, the camera's on you. What do you want to say to everyone?
I mean, things have just been going great. I mean, we're going to talk about the future of the podcast here tonight. We're going to be talking about what the listeners want to talk about. Oh, here we go. A message from Alan on your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think it's going to be kind of exciting. Eye-opening episode that will be starting in,
Soon.
let's see here,
What did Alan have to say?
7 minutes. He said, yep. So
what are you saying yep to, Alan?
It might be on your phone.
Uh-oh.
What's uh-oh?
So I might have to join Google Plus. So I'm trying that.
I'm on Google Plus currently. I have a Google Plus account.
Correct.
I'll talk about something here for a few minutes.
Okay, that's.
Give me a subject.
What do you think of Lost these days?
Hey, great question. You know, I haven't watched Lost in a while now. As all these reboots and remakes are happening, I don't think I'd mind if ABC brought back Lost, The Next Generation or something.
Right.
What would you think about that?
Well, Dave Sinclair says you guys are awesome.
Thanks, Dave. So Alan.
So Dan says we set the camera to whoever's speaking, and that's not going to work, Dan, because we're routing all the sound through one computer that just has the logo, so that would be a disaster.
So Alan's saying they can listen fine, they can't talk, but that
correct.
So that's great, but that's basically the same experience.
They're listening live.
That's true. Who knows what Ben's gonna say? But Alan, we're gonna make it work for you. Just keep listening.
Okay, I'm gonna Google it.
Oh boy, this can't be happening in the middle of the episode. Didn't you bring your laptop?
No.
I thought you were going to.
No.
So why don't we switch spots?
No, I got to Google here.
I got a computer right there. You can use the Google thing. And then I can read my notes. Actually have something I can talk about on the show at that computer.
Okay.
I'll switch. Okay, it's back. That blue computer. Grab that one. Cool. All right, everybody. Here we go. So Lost, good. That'd be great if it comes back. But let's talk about episode 400. As I was saying, we have Rick's answers from last year's questions. So I'll remind you in the questions. Ben, don't even feel like you have to respond. I know you just want to do your thing.
Well, I want to get the people on here.
Oh, I'm going to have to log you in.
Okay. So, sorry, everyone.
No, I mean, we're still 5 minutes until we
promised
them that they would be able to be on with us. So.
Think of this as like the pre-show.
Hey, guess what?
What?
Speaking of interesting sci-fi things, I finished the first book of Harry Potter last night for the second time.
How was it?
Well,
that hack, J.K. Rowling.
It was actually, I liked the book, but why it's a bigger deal is now I can start reading the other books, which I've never. Book one I read in high school, and now I've finished that, so now I can dive into the rest of the series.
Right.
Okay, my notes. So it starts. So, Rick found about our show. Are you ready, Ben?
Yes.
Here we go. we asked him, what was your favorite episode or topic in the history of the Sci-Fi Christian? Now, this is between episodes 1 and maybe about 390. He said, my favorite episode is the one you guys just did on the Gospel of Mark. Honestly, to finally hear someone that grasps how the Gospels were intended to function was such a great joy that I found my head nodding along and saying amen with each new point. Very well done. So, Ben, that was on you. Good work.
Who?
This is all Rick.
Oh, okay.
Why do you see?
I expect Rick to be, a fan of us. So.
I mean, he's our friend, longtime
Right.
listener. We asked Rick, how did you find the Sci-Fi Christian? He said he originally found the show randomly on iTunes looking for podcasts related to sci-fi. We asked him, what's something that you'd like us to discuss? And Ben, he said he'd love if we would discuss Alan Moore.
Ah.
That's actually part of the plan. The long-term plan is to have an Alan Moore episode.
Okay. A little bad news.
Oh, boy.
The bad news is that I guess that that to have people actually join the Hangout, you have to invite them.
So we have to invite everyone individually.
Or we can give out a Skype name and have them call in. We could
Through Skype or into Hangouts?
No, they'd have to call into Skype on this computer.
Okay, I have a Skype.
Do we want to give out your Skype name publicly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything private about Skype?
I don't think so. So if you want to Skype in with us,
Oh, boy.
I'm going to invite Alan, though.
Can't we just invite them right here?
I think
so.
so.
All they have to do is just Facebook us. Just go on our Facebook and comment.
Well, you can invite them. Do you see? Well,
Yeah.
you're running the control panel.
This is perfect because you wanted to be the moderator for this episode. I can be the tech guy. There'll be a little swap. We're swapping roles. I usually moderate our conversations and you do the tech stuff. So.
Okay, so if you want to be on this episode, you have to get us your email.
Whoa. So how are they going to get us their email? What's the best way?
Feedback at thescichristian.com.
Perfect.
You'll get that.
I've got it right here.
Okay.
Everybody dive in. I mean, they're already at the computer. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's just one extra step. There's a lot of extra steps for me. One for you.
Hang
guys.
on, I might be able to get you over here. I might be able to get on it over here. Okay.
Oh, so you're gonna help me invite people?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be awesome. Back to Rick, with just 1 minute until the show starts. The official show. This is the pre-show.
I'm gonna make it.
Actually, it's kind of weird. We did start the episode with the music, and now we're doing a little pre-show before what we actually promise happens in 1 minute. So Here we go. Back to the questions. He said we said something you'd like us to discuss. Alan Moore, got that? All right. If you could be Ben or Matt for a day, who would you be and what would you do?
If I could be Ben or
No,
Matt.
this is not for you. I'm reading Rick's question.
Sorry, this is a disaster.
Rick said, I would be Matt because I don't like the taste of beer, and I have a feeling if I were Ben for a day, I would not be able to get the beer taste out of my mouth.
I'm logging into your Facebook so that I can get the link.
I totally understand. I would probably go and do something up north in a part of the country where I have never been since in Ohio. Wait.
I think he means he'd do something outside of Ohio.
Uh-huh. I'd see sites I've never had a chance to see in Matt's part of the world. And let's see, I think I have the last question here. When did you start listening? He said he started listening whatever year Ben left the show. What year was that? You were here 2011 and left in 2012. He said, I was binge listening, and when I finally caught up on all the episodes, I was thinking, what? I just finished listening to all the episodes, and now that I'm up to date, Ben, guess what? Ben came back.
Okay, I see a lot of you are sending invites. I'm almost there. I'm almost.
All right.
So just hang in there.
Wait, I can do this. I can already start
okay,
right now.
well, can you see them?
We both get feedback.
Yeah.
So I go to Chrome. The screen. Which screen do you mean? If you just show me the screen, then I'll say, yeah.
The one where you can, the black screen. Start live.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
I need you to put in your wife's password so I can install the Hangouts.
Okay.
Here, I'll
come point to that.
Switch.
All right, so if you come here, I'm getting Brandon's right now, and then all I have to do is use Gmail is hit this back button.
No, don't do that. Yeah, I'm familiar with Gmail.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, switching computers. I wish they could watch this video.
I think they can.
Like, are they seeing us switching back and forth right now?
Yeah, they are. Okay.
Cool. Close. Now what? Open? Try.
Well, now I should be able to do it from there.
Great. Switch.
Switch.
This.
We're gonna get to the show, everyone.
The show's about to start, everybody. For us, so no,
Yeah.
don't leave anybody. So, who have you invited so far? Okay.
So invite him.
Here we go. Start talking when you get here.
I'm trying to join on this computer. Yeah.
No, hey, Ben, this is a great day. Lots of fans want to listen. Okay.
I'm trying to get into the.
And you're next. Get ready for.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
It's the.
All right. That's kind of a downer.
Yeah.
So, should I be more specific on?
Just that once you're in for a little while, we probably.
Boot you out
Boot you
later. All right, Brian. Almost there. Ben still hasn't actually shown me where to do the invites.
Okay.
I just saw the page that you had open when I copied and pasted.
You're gonna see me twice, everyone. How about that?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Here, hit the volume on the top right corner.
Got it?
Got it?
Nope. Shows. You not know how to do it? Okay.
Hit the one that know how to do it.
Sorry.
There.
I gotta mute me. Okay.
Just a second.
So much echo.
Okay. There we go.
Oh my
No echo.
This is going to be a great episode.
Now I gotta. Okay. Invite people. That's it.
Yeah, where do you go for that? I want to invite some people.
Wait. Permanent link. Okay, everyone. I'm going to reply with the link. Try and use this.
Oh, man.
Oh, stupid Mac.
You know, Brandon, he sent the invite. I haven't
Where
seen
did
him
you
yet.
send it to?
I sent it to his Gmail.
I know, but did you send it from the black screen?
The one that you had loaded.
Wrong.
Brandon, sorry.
We're literally seconds away from having this fixed.
That's great. That's so great. 6:04, everybody, for our own show.
Right. Okay, go to the black screen.
I'm there.
See it as with a plus next to it.
No.
Okay, send it to him there.
All right, first up, Brian, then.
Okay.
Brian, you just got our first invite. Let me know if this works. Brandon, I'll go back and get your email.
Oh, I just saw it. That worked because it said you added Brian to the Hangout.
Good. All right, just a matter of time, everybody. All right, I see Aaron. I gotta go back, or Brandon. I mean, honestly, it's not the biggest disaster. We've by far had worse shows. All right, Aaron, you're in.
Aaron's in. I see him on there.
We should probably talk about who we're inviting so we don't double invite the same people. Who have you invited right now?
I've not invited anyone.
So I've only received 3 requests so far.
I think Alan. Okay, so for all of you out there, you should have it now.
It's working. This is great.
Yeah. So again, if you want an invite onto the show, you need to send an email to Ben at the Sci-Fi Christian or to feedback at the Sci-Fi
feedback,
Christian.
Otherwise, I won't get it. It has to be feedback.
And that's going to invite you to join our actual hangout that's taking place right now.
All right. I've done what I can do.
Correct.
I'm watching the emails. I haven't seen any new ones come in quite yet. We are getting some messages through Facebook, but that might just be
correct.
okay.
There's somebody.
Okay, I think I may have
It's
got
Aaron
muted.
Ray.
Okay, that's good.
Aaron and
If
Alan,
they
we
don't
can hear
mute
you.
everybody, it could be
You can actually hear me? Well, that's not ideal.
We can hear you.
You are on.
It worked.
You're the
We
first.
fixed it.
What?
You're the first listeners. on
Mute!
Episode 5.
I can mute on
What?
my mic.
This is a disaster. Well, first,
No, there's like a 20-second delay.
Well, yeah, that could be awkward.
It could be worse. So, all right, I'm about to send you that invite.
Yep.
We got 20 seconds in between our conversation, but you guys want to say anything here on the show?
Yeah, I think probably next time we might want to just use Skype.
So this is not going well for Hangout, you don't think?
I think this is turning into a disaster.
You know, if it goes really bad, here's what we'll do. Episode 115 or 25.
Yeah. We'll do.
We need something to do for 5:25 anyway.
Did you see Jordan wants in?
That's the email. I'll make it happen, Captain.
So another way. There's CJ's on there.
All
I see,
right, there.
but he's muted.
That's not on me, right? He has chosen to mute himself.
I think so.
Aaron.
I'm gonna bring him up on the screen. We see you. We can't hear you. Check his volume.
Let's see.
Oh, talking there. Ah,
Yes.
CJ.
Yes.
Okay, I
Hi.
can see you.
Hello?
20-second delay.
I'm not going to talk anymore.
Okay. I think that was Aaron. But I
Are
don't
you
know.
sure?
I don't know. Well, should we just go ahead and
Should we just dive in and start answering some questions?
yeah, I gotta bring him up here on my phone.
Well, I kind of wanted to do Aaron's since he's on the phone. He's on the phone right now.
Oh, I see CJ, but I can't hear him.
Maybe it was CJ that said he doesn't want to talk. CJ, is that right? Do you not want to talk? I'm looking at your face. Just
Raise one hand if that was you, and two hands if it wasn't. So
this is gonna be awesome.
it
So
wasn't him. Okay.
CJ, how come
This
we
is
can't?
awesome. We could semaphores.
communicating.
Semaphore.
Let me see if I can do something. CJ, are you there?
Oh,
That doesn't help.
no, he's muted. Now he's unmuted. He's talking.
I can see his mouth moving.
Yeah.
I can't hear his sound.
So we can hear Alan or Aaron.
I think they're together. I think I heard Alan over there with Aaron.
Well, they muted themselves.
Yeah, so they're not talking.
Okay.
So here, let's read.
CJ is talking.
CJ.
Aaron is, but he's not talking. So if we could combine them somehow, this would work out perfectly.
Well, we could ask CJ some yes/no questions.
Okay.
So one hand is yes.
Yes.
Two hands is
CJ. Oh, there's Brian.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Hello. Can you actually hear us?
Let's put over in there.
Make sure you.
what does that mean? Unmuted us.
Do you want to just put your Skype address out there?
You don't think this is working well?
I think this is a disaster.
But we already sent these invites to everyone. Let's just come. We'll do Skype on 5:25.
Okay.
It's working well for us now.
Oh, you can hear us? I feel like there might
How big?
to our.
About 3 minutes.
Well, we got like 100 questions to get to.
That's true, and we have 1 more left.
True.
No, not really. Hour and a half. We're good to go.
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
Okay. CJ.
Yeah? Oh, this delay is killer.
Okay.
Can you hear me, though?
Okay, there's about 10 seconds.
I can hear you, DJ. We're going to
Yeah.
pause and say something for 15 seconds.
You guys, this is like the end of Interstellar where they're trying to converse through space and time, and you have to like figure out some sort of code to decipher what's being said. Did any of that get picked up? Probably not.
I feel like they're. It did.
Yeah, that was
It all did.
that was the first. CJ, great
That is.
to be here for us for a while now. So thanks for listening.
Cool.
Okay, I think it's time on the hangout. This is not going well.
It's okay. I mean, sometimes you just have to
Okay, that's better.
disaster.
That's true. It's an invite.
I think it's great. I mean, this is episode 500. Everybody's into this.
Sci-Fi Christian episode. Please come back another time.
There's no way.
This is not good.
There's no way. On to open the door for other people to dive in and.
This is very good for us live. Okay. Station.
That could be true. Someone just left, and
You
I think it
left.
was.
You,
How could I have left?
the sci-fi Christian, left the conversation. What a disaster!
How could I have left? You left the conversation. I see Brian and Melissa.
Yeah.
Did you guys talk?
I think so. Can you hear
Yeah,
us?
Yes.
Yes.
we can hear you.
Wait, are you live?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we can see you guys live too.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Wait,
Wait, why are we echoing?
Did you turn
Did you turn that back on?
I don't know.
Okay, now Brian, can you still talk?
Yes.
Oh, did that work?
Yeah.
Oh, so I had myself on there. Okay.
Right.
Well, okay, great. Hello, everybody.
Well, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. How do we?
I don't know. Oh, we'll try CJ next, but welcome to episode 500. We have nothing else planned. So, what's on your mind?
Oh man.
I already sent in my questions, so I don't even. Well,
Hey,
I
wait,
can.
Well, let's answer your questions.
Yeah, we'll
Let's get to the
answer-
questions.
we're
This
gonna-
is perfect.
Yeah.
We'll answer your
Questions.
questions live. Okay, so let's do.
Basketball.
Okay.
All right, Melissa, we're gonna go through yours first. I got them right here.
Okay.
Melissa writes in and says,
It's kind of a shame that you're reading her part too, considering she's right there.
"Do you want me to ask the question? You can answer first. and
I'll-
I'll go ahead."
Okay.
And then,
Email.
Melissa will go get her questions.
okay.
Oh, perfect.
This is perfect. Well, why don't we start with how did you guys meet and become good friends? Because that's our last question,
Okay.
and that seems like a good way to start the episode.
Exactly.
With our first content, 40 minutes in.
Right.
So why don't you tell the story? I feel like I tell it all the time, Ben. I want
Well,
to hear your point of view of this.
We went to the same church. It was a church plant. So this was the pre-Catholic days of Ben DiBono. And what happened? You wanted to know what happened. I'm trying to remember.
Oh boy, know our own story. I was asking about becoming a small.
That's right. All right. Yeah, and I was in charge out Leanne Chen
Right, where we did.
location actually. about small groups. Now we're about Lost.
And at the time, Ben was about all things.
Yeah.
I mean, the show in some ways ruined you. Or
I feel like I found myself.
so tons of things
Yeah.
that you liked back on. I mean, still, what I is a great. It didn't go well in
every other word. So
real
that
life,
was
which
something-
is the life report. What would you say?
I think she said. So that's not good.
Well, it's okay if she's listening later.
That's true. That's true.
Well,
So we'll talk about the.
What?
All right, so the life report, real quick. This is a great idea. If you're a pastor and you want to.
Yeah.
Exactly our pastor gave. So let's say he would give a sermon on it, and then Ben and I would have a totally separate conversation about fasting that was a supplement to the sermon.
But the problem was that the whole congregation fasted from listening to the podcast. So
In its total.
in its entirety.
Yeah, and so
We had 2 or 3 listeners.
yeah, at
and
most.
It went downhill from there.
Yeah, so we quickly just switched over and became the Sci-Fi Christian instead.
Correct.
And dropped the life report. So we started numbering back over. Actually, we did do both for about 4 months.
Yeah,
We
that
had-
was tough.
So so that answers one of your questions, Melissa. Are you ready to ask us some others?
yeah. Okay. Have y'all ever traveled or lived outside of the U.S.?
I've been to Poland and Germany.
Wow.
Have you ever been outside the? I've been to Canada once.
Yes, in high school I was in a high school band.
Yeah.
Not like a rock band, but I was in a regular high school band.
Right.
And
To Germany. Interesting. So that's what you were
Wait,
doing.
wait.
Me?
You just did something,
I did something.
and now
And
now you're echoing again.
Now I might mute yourself. There you
fixed
go.
it.
Hey.
We're both in Germany.
Yeah.
What year were you there? Could it have been 1999?
No, it was like 2001, 2002.
I went in 1999, I want to say.
Yeah.
So flew into Germany, then we drove through Luxembourg, and then spent quite a bit of time in Paris. So that was kind of my longest international trip, all 4.
Right.
And then my band played music in various cities. And then I went to Canada for a brief trip once, and I did a missions trip to Guatemala.
You know,
I've
my,
never lived out of the country, though.
my trip was a missions trip. I went to go convert those heathen Catholics over in Poland.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you know,
Evangelized the Catholics. So
really funny.
that went well.
Okay. All right. Oh, we have to let her ask the next question.
Okay.
What's the next question?
We're ready for your next question.
Okay. So Ben has his vacation horror stories. Does Matt have any such experiences, or any really unique that's happened on his vacations that would make a good story?
Yeah, I read this question ahead of time, and I'm sad to say I don't have any horror stories the way Ben does. Ben tells very good stories, especially if things go wrong.
Vacation is a horror story.
But here, I'll tell you my best vacation. Should I do that?
Sure.
Cool.
It'll be really fast. The Pacific Coast Highway. So we flew into San Diego, and then we flew out of San Francisco. So, you know, we spent a few days in San Francisco, a few days in San Diego, stopped to places. It was fun. So that was the best vacation I've ever been on. I feel, yeah. I mean,
Just my son 4 hours ago.
so that's all right. What's your next question?
Okay. If Ben no longer likes going on vacation, what is the ideal substitute for him? What does he do to relax with his family for a week?
Well, I thought about this question. I think I have to correct us because it's that vacations are somehow relaxing, and they are not. So, no substitute for vacation. I like doing stuff at home with the kids. So, like we like my daughters prayer wheel. Makes you smile. And we watch movies. You know, kind of the stuff I talk about here on the show. I mean, I'm not watching the same movies necessarily. Haven't showed the kids The Shining yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But you know, it's that type of stuff. Yeah. So we all like being at home. In fact, my well, I almost said 1-year-old. He just turned 2. And he gets with just like
Or movie recommendations that someone's given
I
up.
don't know. I missed that question, so I didn't come up with an answer to it.
I have a great one.
My dad once, when I was very young, recommended that we watch Star Wars.
Melissa, for me, the best recommendation was Memento. So the reason I bring that one up is
yeah.
I don't feel like I would have heard about it as soon as I did if a professor in college hadn't brought it up and said it was a great movie. So I found it at a rental store and checked it out and loved it. Ended up being, I think, one of my favorite movies. Not like top 5 recommendation for me would be because I don't know when I would ever have learned about it unless that professor.
I
had brought it up.
recommended Lawrence of Arabia to you.
That worked out pretty well.
It's Seven Samurai.
Lawrence of Arabia was better.
It is, but they're both in my top 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not sure where I would rank them.
Well, should we bring the front?
Yes, Brian, we know that you have questions too, so we'll come back to you, okay? Are you good to go for hanging out?
All right.
Let's go back to CJ.
Okay, I'm gonna bring him up so we can see him.
All right,
Oh,
CJ,
man.
we can
Hey,
see
guys.
you.
Can you
I
hear
can
us?
see you. Yeah, I can hear you live.
Awesome! Oh my goodness, this is really making a turnaround.
Yeah. So I'm scanning my document here.
You guys are in and out a little bit on my end. Am I coming through clearly?
You're perfect.
Sound great, which is way more important because that's what's being recorded.
Right. So you'll hear our part of the conversation.
Oh man, everybody's leaving.
Brad.
What a disaster!
CJ, we still have you.
Still in there?
Why did you guys put me on? And everybody left.
CJ, why don't you ask some questions?
Oh no. Oh, why don't I ask a question?
Wait, why don't you tell us about you? So we know you have a
Why don't you talk about your blog?
blog. Why don't you talk about your blog that you interviewed both Ben and myself on?
Okay, yeah, so I have a really unsuccessful blog on which I post very infrequently, and it's for cjstunker.com, so it's kind of whatever's on my heart and mind at the time. And yeah, I post there. I promote my book on there, and I am also in the midst of a water campaign similar to the Sci-Fi Christians, and so I post about that sometimes too.
What?
I know, guys. I know.
Wait, so we do not like competition, CJ. This is not cool.
No, I'm not trying to get the same dollars from you. I'm not going after any Catholic donors at all. So
Matt?
yeah,
It's not a Catholic donor.
God. Protestant donors, Ben gets the Catholic donors. Everybody knows that's how it works.
Right.
Do you want to hear a really sad fact?
You can have the Mormon donors, CJ.
well, they're very generous.
Yeah.
What,
So, speaking of water fund, do you want to hear a sad fact? Even though we promote it on every episode, the last donation was on August 3rd.
That was you.
It was me.
And you said, donate today, it feels good.
That campaign did not work. I mean, that specific request from people.
You still think we're going to make 5,000?
I believe in the listeners.
Yeah.
So everybody who's on right now knows that by logging in, you have committed to $500. Thank you.
Yeah. Or else.
Or else.
Well,
Yeah, if
CJ, you didn't send in any question. Oh.
I think we cut him off because of a little delay. Go ahead, CJ.
Oh, I was just here to jam. I didn't send in any questions. I was just here to hang out with you guys.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awesome. We love
That's
it.
great.
Well, we're glad you're here, and we know how consistent and loyal you are as a well, let's see.
Good day, mate.
Good day, gentlemen.
Hey.
Hey, now, Jordan, you and I have actually hung out, but this is your first time hanging out with Matt.
That's true. That's true.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry if there's a little bit of a delay here. My connection doesn't seem to be brilliant, so I apologize if it's cutting out at all.
Well, you are on the other side of the world,
Yeah,
so I
this is
think it's
pretty good.
okay. Yeah.
Right. We've got a bit of time travel happening at the moment.
And
Seventh right now.
Sorry, I'm not catching this.
Oh, is tomorrow or today is September 6th here in Minnesota. In Australia, are you the next day already?
Yes, it's 9 o'clock on Wednesday morning of the 7th of September.
Wow,
fantastic.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, first time travel here on the episode.
Right.
Yes.
So Jordan, tell us listen a while.
It's an odd way of putting it.
Do you know about approximately how long you've been listening?
Yeah, well, I found you guys originally. It would have been. It must have been late 2011. But then I didn't listen for a while, and I started again at the beginning of 2013. Which, funnily enough, it was. Funny little story. A lot of the bloggers and Christian podcasters I listened to were Catholic, and I thought it would be good to get to listen to more of an evangelical side again. And the first episode I saw was the Sci-Fi Catholic. Ben had converted to Catholicism, which was just a nice ironic twist.
So everybody's aware, it sounds like the time where Jordan stopped listening was when I was not on the show.
It does sound like that.
Yeah.
That's a weird coincidence.
Roughly around about then.
Is Jordan?
Sorry, we're breaking up a bit.
Oh, is there enough you dropping off the show Ben's cast?
Oh, I don't think there was a connection. No, it was more that I got a new computer and didn't import my podcast subscriptions.
That's a likely story.
Wow. Jordan, so I don't think I know exactly. Are you a Catholic to listen to previously had been Catholic Christians?
I'm not Catholic, at least not yet, but I'm certainly very interested in more traditional approaches to Christianity, be it Catholic or Orthodox or even High Anglican. The liturgical and sacramental forms of Christianity are what interest me.
Okay. Oh, we're going to be doing some episodes on that theme. soon.
Yeah,
we're going to be talking about church.
I really appreciate the discussions that you have on the show. Very much enjoy them. So, yes, thank you for doing those episodes.
Yeah, I've been asking Ben about this for a couple of years now. I want to know. So, of course, we'll talk about that kind of thing.
Right.
I also want to know, when you were investigating Anglican and Orthodox and Catholic, how did you land where you landed?
And I'm funny. My answer to that has always been I've got to read a book.
Okay.
I'm reading the book.
Okay, good.
So I think that those are actually two back-to-back episodes. Tradition,
awesome.
and then Eastern Orthodox within the next month.
I love it.
It's not an Alan Moore episode situation.
Okay, this is
we will
happening.
get to them.
All right.
All right. Do we go to who else do we have on here?
Well, Jordan, any last word before Ben switches? You have all the power over there.
Do I?
I thought you've been doing this all along.
No, you've been doing it. What a disaster.
I mean, it's all the way in Australia. Let's ask him an Australia fun fact. You know how I love fun.
On the Barbie, mate?
Hey, come on.
What? That's...
I'm only catching every second word in here, but I heard something about shrimps on the... So what fun fact would you like to know?
You know, let me see. Australia, tell us something great.
Well, we're going into spring at the moment, so things are starting to get quite warm outside. Yeah, that's about the situation right now. We have kangaroos down the road. Actually, they're wallabies, so they're slightly smaller than kangaroos.
Awesome. Now we're talking
Yeah.
kangaroos. Everybody loves kangaroos.
They're not as good as squirrels, but if we're talking bigger animals, you can't go wrong with a kangaroo. You could put a squirrel in the kangaroo, like in the pouch.
You could
Right.
do something like that, yes. Yeah. I mean, we don't have squirrels over here, but we do have smaller marsupials. So we've had a potteroo in the backyard, which is kind of like a cross between a kangaroo and a rabbit.
Now that we got that unfortunate news about the squirrel situation in Australia, we should import some over there.
It seems like it would be something easy to sneak over. All right, Joy, we're
Brandon.
Hi, Brandon. I'm looking at you. Weird.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
How's it going?
Hey, we can hear you.
Yeah. Long time listener, Brandon. Welcome to the show.
Because I can't hear you guys.
Oh dear.
Oh wait, I got it.
Okay, fantastic. Well, welcome to the show.
Where are you calling?
I'm actually from Indiana. Oh, you guys are cutting out again.
Nice, Deanna.
Oh.
Well, we blame.
All right. I think we're good. I think we're good now. Sorry.
All right, Indiana. Now,
Okay, now I think it's just. I think it's just.
for
Google
quite a while. How
Hangouts.
long have you been with us?
For about a few years, I think. 2013, 2014, maybe.
I thought longer.
Yeah.
So, when you first found us, was just sort of searching through iTunes, or how did you come across the show?
Actually, YouTube. I watched a video that you guys did. It was a review of Fringe season 3. What episode was it? The finale episode of season 3. And you guys
we hated
totally,
this episode.
Yeah, you guys totally trashed it, and that's actually one of my favorite seasons of that show.
Oh, no.
And so I was like, well, these guys have an interesting point, so I just kind of kept watching videos, and from that point on, just kept listening.
So I do like Fringe. I don't love it, but I do really like it, and I especially like the early seasons. But I feel like that end of season 3 could have been so strong. What I've said is, I won't go into any plot points here, but if it had ended on the second to last episode, that would have been an awesome cliffhanger. But then what they actually did with their finale was a disaster in my mind.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not going to be positive.
I absolutely loved the finale. I loved everything about it. Everything that you guys hated, I actually loved, and that's something that I've tended to notice, especially with listening to Ben's point of views on like movies and stuff. And so it's just been fun for me just to hear Ben just bash everything that I love so dearly.
Most people don't think that's fun.
What do you think of Heroes?
Think of what?
Heroes.
I liked the first 2 seasons, and then after that, absolute crap. So.
Well, yeah, you're off by a couple seasons on that absolute destination. What about Batman v Superman?
Are you with me?
Well, I'll agree with you on this one. Batman v Superman is not a good movie. I did enjoy it simply because it was 2 superheroes battling.
So we're not totally off.
Right.
Yeah. So, so we're closer than, because if he had said I like Heroes a little and Batman v Superman, I mean, we would have kicked him off the hangout right now.
Yeah.
But I don't have an asking. And so as I look down on my Google Hangouts list, and I can see all the faces of all the people here, we're really thankful for you guys. What made you want to be?
I think you guys may have cut out. You guys there?
That has to be a dorm, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Otherwise,
Hey,
or
I
else it's a
hear you
home
guys.
invader situation.
Are you back?
yeah. Yep.
Hey, somebody, I just want to let you know, someone just walked in behind you. I don't know if you noticed.
That's my roommate.
Okay, cool. Just making sure it wasn't a burglar.
Yeah.
Are you in college right now?
Yes.
Which college are you at?
Ball State University.
Boston?
No, he said Ball State University.
Yeah, Ball State
Oh,
University.
I asked you when it was cutting out.
Oh,
Or we might have to ask someone else this question.
okay. I think we're good.
What made you want to be here so live and partake in the festivities?
I saw it today on Facebook. Ben shared it on Facebook, and
Nice work, Ben.
I was like, all right, sounds fun. I guess I'll go for it because I really love the podcast and excited to be fun.
Every episode since
I'm sorry, did you ask me my favorite episode?
started listening, or do you use?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Or when I'm listening to the podcast, I will admit I do pick. Yeah, totally. Do you tend to listen to everything, or do you tend to listen to some here and there?
Definitely some here and there. Depends on the title, I guess. So if it's something like Star Wars related,
Oh.
Lord of the Rings one, it's definitely something I'll pick that has precedence over, something about the Inferno or anything like that. So.
Uh-oh. So sad right
This is
now.
not good. This is not
Not to say that I don't listen to those episodes. It's
good.
more that.
Dante. Oh,
Okay. I was thinking something about that. Oh, what about news? I've been kind of curious. Do people tend to listen to the news, or do they skip to the main topic?
I usually listen to the news for sure.
Nice.
yeah, people like their news.
Yeah.
On what's happening if the news comes.
Hang tight. We're gonna try Aaron and Alan Rainey. See if they're here tonight.
Can you hear us, or are we on a 20-second delay?
We can hear you.
It's working great.
Great, terrific. Aaron might turn the camera. Did you turn the camera off?
No, it's on.
Okay, we might come in and out on the camera because we're here in northern Minnesota where there is very little bandwidth to be shared amongst very little population, but it's still pretty pathetic.
All right.
That's okay.
So in real life, we're friends with the Rainies.
Yeah.
This is a father and son duo. You may know discussed their book Flight of the Angels, and I know some details from our friends off there, but it seems like it's right around the corner.
What did you just say?
Man, I give
I'm guessing you're asking about
I give
Hornets.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Hornet's Nest, right? That's right around the corner. It's close, isn't it?
I'm going to let Aaron answer that.
Oh gosh. The book will be finished as soon as I'm prepared to pull my weight, which I haven't done yet, but soon. I have a question for you. How much of a disaster did you expect this episode was going to be going into it, and has it exceeded your expectations?
So I was saying, last year, Aaron was kind enough to help us with an episode we had in mind called Good Advice from Matt and Ben.
Yeah.
And he sent me these questions. I was saving them for when we did that episode, and we never did that episode.
Okay.
And then we ended up using that idea and just made it episode 500. So 1 year ago, Aaron sent us 2 questions, one for you and one for me.
Okay.
I'll just read these for you, Aaron, and then you can react if you have any follow-ups.
Sure.
Aaron says, question for Ben. I don't currently own a bike, but will likely want to buy one next summer now that my kids are old enough to...
This summer?
Yep. Now that my kids are old enough to go on family bike rides. If my interest is mostly casual, a bike trip around town once a week or so, what sort of bike would you recommend? Up until now, I've only ever ridden mountain bikes and never for the purpose of actual mountain biking. Here are some specific questions. Would you recommend a road bike? What qualities do you look for when buying a bike? And do you have any recommendations regarding specific trends or models? I would need it.
Yeah, probably not a road bike then, because the entry level price point is several $100s for a road bike. But you get a hybrid bike, something that you don't really need a mountain bike unless you're going to be going off road. So get yourself a hybrid bike with some skinny tires, but pretty good on that. If you decide you want to step it up and not, then lies something like that, kind of in the entry level. But you're looking at $800-900 to start with a road bike, and then it goes way up from there.
Aaron, do you feel like that satisfactorily answered your question?
That was very helpful. I could have used that advice a year ago.
I appreciate that.
So did you end up with a follow-up?
I feel like we're experiencing some
sounded great. Did Northern Minnesota good?
Boy, if we were lip readers, this would be going
All right,
great.
That's true.
For me. And Aaron, hopefully you can hear this. The question for Matt is, I am currently and slowly working through the online Masters of Arts in Theological Studies program at yours and Ben's alma mater. Now, this is University of Northwestern in St. Paul.
Yes.
I know that you stopped with your Maths degree while Ben continued on to MDiv. What are the benefits of the MDiv degree over the Maths? In other words, if I stop Arts and Theological Studies, will I be living in perpetual regret? I'll answer my version, and you can give your response, Ben.
Okay.
So I think it depends. If you're thinking, I want to be a pastor forever, this is my career, I think the MDiv is a must.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking more like me, where at one point I was thinking I'd go down a pastoral route, but then started to maybe not know for sure that was the exact direction I was going, I think the Maths, which is, again, the Masters of Arts in Theological Studies, I think that's good enough. So it depends on what your long-term career future goals are.
Oh, somebody's echoing.
Aaron, what do you think about that?
Well, my life motto is good enough, so that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love my Maths degree. All the time I'm like, don't argue with me. This is a Bible study. Don't argue with me. I'm a master in theological studies.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with
You
it.
can shut so many people down.
I know.
You don't even have to know what you're talking
No.
about. It's the best.
Like, that's not in the Bible.
Exactly.
I have a theological studies degree.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah, that wasn't the MDiv, though. I got a Master of Theology program from St. John's. I was going to do the MDiv, but then I was more interested in kind of the academic side of it rather than the side.
Right. What else do you guys want to talk about here live on the show?
Well, I did have a question, and it's just a real basic one. It's kind of a follow-up on Aaron's question earlier, based on the first 30 minutes of this episode. In your opinion, especially Ben, who is sitting on the futon next to us, is this more of a disaster or less of a disaster than that very unmemorable episode we recorded from our cabin?
Oh,
yeah. Oh, that was such a... I had so much fun that weekend that I'm going to say this is worse because that was just a great weekend.
A follow-up question.
Yeah, I
what
can't imagine...
weeks do both of you have available in October?
Let me think.
I'll bring up...
I'm going to be in Denver for the Great American Festival.
No one didn't tell me about that.
I'm
saw
going
you
to see Skip.
Facebooking with Skip, and I didn't even know you were going.
And then
How do you think that makes me feel?
Well, do you want to? You can be our designated driver to the Great American Beer Festival. You just have to fly yourself out there.
I actually did have a friend ask me to be a designated driver once, and it feels like a weird question to ask me. Like, of course I want you to be safe, but if you know I don't drink, don't make me come along to your beer festival.
Well, what else are people like you good for? God put abstainers on the world for a reason. So the first weekend
is running 10 miles here as the Twin Cities Marathon, but I signed up for just the 10 mile.
Right. And then the last weekend, my grandpa's getting married.
Wow.
Just to be clear about weird situations, my grandma died like 15 years ago, so it's not like a polygamous or other weird situation. That got
too weird. I don't think asking. No one even was like, "What, Grandpa?" No, you could have just left it at that.
So, but the in-between weekends, I think I'm free.
And I'm looking at my calendar right now, and nothing's on my weekends so we might be able to make something happen.
Oh, that would be so awesome. That was so fun. Well, we'll have to talk off the air when we can all hear each other
Sounds
better.
good to me.
Great. Well, let's see.
I like how this just turned into planning our schedules for October of this episode.
I think we should go back to Rainey's, if you don't mind. Hang tight. But I think we should go back to Brian and Melissa because Brian still had some questions. So, Brian, hopefully you've had time to load those up. And let's see here. Kind of crazy. I mean, it's weird to have people here with us, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was a little bit nervous before doing tonight's episode.
Oh, I wasn't.
Just because you don't know how it's going to go.
You haven't made friends with a lot of these people. Like, I've spent time with Jordan. You ducked him when he came to town.
No, not true. I think I had to work.
You know, I've been down to C2E2 twice. You dodged it both times.
Oh, Rick's not even on tonight.
Well, but still.
We should call Rick. Later. We'll call him later.
Okay.
Another friend, Jake, who I told on to.
Okay.
All right, Brian, we're ready for you. Oh, wait, what were we saying about right before
You were saying you were nervous.
Oh, I was nervous because, I usually have the power to edit those, but I felt like for this one we probably won't edit it.
Well, I've kept my language under control.
You did great.
Yeah.
But, you want to perform well for all the listeners, and
Right.
this is different because everybody's here live watching.
Yeah.
So, all right, Brian, go ahead.
All right. So first one is for Matt.
Hello, this is Matt.
Yeah, we'll start with Matt. And Matt, if you're not friends with many of the listeners, you can be our friend. So
Thank you. I'd love
come down to Alabama and hang out with us.
Hey, I like Alabama.
Really?
Every time I sing that song, 50 Nifty United States, I always start with Alabama.
I thought you were gonna go Sweet Home Alabama.
Nope, not that one.
Oh.
Do you know that 50
I'm
Nifty
surprised you know that. Almost nobody else does.
Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, and it goes on from there.
Like Indiana gets in there and
all of them.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Brian.
Okay, if you're really ready this time. All right. So
Ready.
Obviously Ben likes to talk about squirrels a lot, but what we've all been wondering for a long time, what's your favorite animal? Matt Anderson.
You asked me about this because I prepared the answers to your questions ahead of time just so I wasn't scrambling on the show, and I was really thinking. I mean, of course, I like dogs, okay, and when you go to the zoo, it's fun to watch the monkeys. But when you think of sort of out of the normal of animals I like, this is a surprise, and it's true. I actually love flamingos.
Oh. That's a good answer.
I don't know why. I just always thought flamingos were awesome, and when San Diego Zoo, I probably spent 30 minutes just watching those crazy birds.
They just stand there on one leg.
Yeah, but their knees bend the wrong way, and
I hate birds so much.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not a huge bird fan, but when it comes to flamingos, pretty cool. And then some other ultra asking for that, but I felt obligated to say I also like giraffes.
I can do giraffes.
I also really like panda bears.
How do you feel about frogs?
You know, I also like polar bears, but like all bears, those are just the two I really like.
Those are your bears.
Frogs?
Yeah.
No, not a big frog fan. Although I did collect toads from the park when I was a kid.
You know,
and a little but then I was young. I didn't realize that just kills them.
Oh.
So
yeah, so I have a little hammock chair outside, and there's frogs that are living on it. So every that it's like sitting there reading a book or something, and
that's
so
great.
yeah, I've kind of become a frog fan this year.
Wow, I love it. All right,
Yeah.
Brian.
All right. Switching over to Ben.
Okay.
Wait a second. What do you guys think about flamingos?
He's got like
I mean, flamingos,
questions.
they're kind of funny. They wouldn't make my top 10 animals,
Or mine.
which you can hear
That'll be aired
this coming weekend on our podcast, 10 to 1. Top 10 animals
Yeah.
coming out. So there's a little plug.
The 10 to 1 podcast. You guys gotta check out their top 10 podcasts.
Yes.
No spoilers on where we land, but pretty good.
Yeah.
In the top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Okay,
For Ben.
So Ben, you talked about listening to books while you ride your bike. Do you have any tips on how to do that
Yes.
safely?
Yes, I do, because I in fact have done it safely. So no accidents yet caused by that. It kind of depends on how much money you want to spend. I mean, if all you want to do is just take like earbuds, what I recommend is just put one earbud in. So if you're riding on the right side of the road, I'd put the right ear in so that your ear that's closest to traffic is free. Other things that you can do is you can get a little speaker and mount it on your bike. That I've done that at times. The best way to do it, though, if you're willing to spend the money, is I use what are called bone induction headphones, and they actually kind of like they don't go on your ear or your ear, so your ear is still open, and it like uses the bone. And I don't know how it works, but it's pretty nifty. So the idea is that they keep your ears open and you still get the sound. The problem is that if you don't want to spend the money for them, there are cheap brands out there, but they absolutely suck. They're absolute garbage. And so the only brand that I've used that's any good is called Aftershocks, and they're fantastic, but it's like about $120 for a pair, which if you're riding all the time like I am, totally worth it. If you don't ride that much, you're probably better off just going with the earbud or the speaker on your bike.
Good answer.
Yeah.
I wear earbuds while running.
Yeah. Brian and Melissa's video appears.
Frozen?
Frozen.
Oh, they might just be listening intently.
They haven't blinked in 2 minutes.
You guys are still there, though, right? I can still hear the audio. I could ask a few questions just to...
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm going to leave them up, and then I'll ask their next
Well, it
question.
says Brian joined the call. I think they got booted off. Brian left the call.
Okay, I'll ask them.
Yeah, can you hear me again?
We can hear him.
Oh, good.
All right. For your next
sorry,
question.
Our Wi-Fi just cut out, so I just had to switch to my mobile device.
You know, actually, the audio is even better than it was before.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's no pressure.
Bad. Why'd we pay $100 for that microphone?
No, I think it was because it's picking up everything around.
Right.
Like a fan or whatever.
We spent too much on the microphone.
I'm saying that. Keep up with the great podcast.
All right. So, Matt.
Yes.
All right.
Hello.
Fun facts. Mr. Fun Facts. Do you have any Minnesota or Twin Cities fun facts?
With this, I spent a good chunk of this afternoon preparing some fun facts. So I decided to look up some things here. So Ben, just sit back. Let me dive in. Minnesota my whole life, as has been.
Well, why would you want to live anywhere else?
Here are some fun facts for Minnesota.
Yeah.
Another nickname is the land of 10,000 lakes. Minnesota has over 15,000 lakes. Huh? That's interesting. Name Minnesota comes from the Dakota Indian words meaning sky-tinted water. Never heard that before. I never even knew that. Did you know that?
Well, meaning was like water or something.
Or more clearly, land of sky blue waters.
All right.
I never knew that until today.
It's kind of funny considering how often it's overcast here.
Here's some things that were created in Minnesota: sandpaper, masking tape,
Bendy Bono,
Scotch tape, Wheaties cereal, Bisquick. Let's see what else. This is the best one: staplers, created right here in Minnesota.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if you like stapling papers together, you can thank Minnesota for that. We have the Mall of America, which is the largest mall in America.
Nobody's perfect.
We have the best hospital in the world, known as the Mayo Clinic.
Right.
Let's see. I could talk about the Twin Cities. Some Twin Cities facts.
I read a fun fact today.
This is my turn. The area of Minneapolis and St. Paul is commonly known as the Twin Cities for its two largest cities, Minneapolis, which is actually the city with the largest population in Minnesota, and St. Paul, which is the state's capital.
Yeah.
Both cities anchor the third largest economy in the Midwest after Chicago and Detroit. And finally, here are some famous Minnesotans. Brian and Minnesota. No, not that famous, exactly. So you've got Bob Dylan, you may know songwriter. Judy Garland, Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. Is he from Minnesota, or does he just live here?
Well, he doesn't live here anymore.
That's true. That's true. R.I.P.
Yeah,
Charles
right.
Walter Mondale, who's a former U.S. president or vice president, very important distinction.
Yeah, he didn't make it.
Schultz, who created Snoopy and Charlie Brown and all those characters. Ingalls Wilder, who is the author of The Little House on the Prairie. So there's just a few fun facts for you, Brian.
I have a better fun fact.
Go.
We have more shoreline in our state than California and Hawaii combined.
That's interesting. That is quite fun to know.
Yeah.
I just looked down and I saw there's a new person joined us. But okay, back to Brian. Brian, do you have one for Ben?
Yeah, back to Ben.
I don't know if George his camera's still on because I'm just seeing like random parts of his room.
Well, I'm sure I'll figure it out. Okay, back to Brian.
Okay. Do you want to put a limit on my questions? Because I had a.
Yeah, probably. Why don't you ask one more for them, and I'll ask them for you. So pick your favorite one for Ben, and then I'll ask the rest.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So Ben, what is the best book you've discovered reading books to your kids? So one you hadn't read previously.
Yeah, this was a good question because they really do run the gamut to mind-numbingly awful to very good. I kind of enjoy going on Goodreads and just once you've sat there for weeks and weeks reading a horrible book out loud, like you can't even skim it, it's just every word out loud. I just go on to Goodreads and write a scathing review of this horrible book. But the best one, I'd have to say, any of Roald Dahl's stuff. I hadn't read any of Roald Dahl's stuff, but like, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Matilda, the Twits, the Witches, all those are so good. Really, really good. We read all of the Howell books, the 3 Howell books to my daughter recently. Those are pretty good. We read the ones I don't recommend. I read the Dark is Rising series to her, and I just hated it so much. It was just so bad. And that book just went on 5 books. They went on forever, and I kept like kind of hinting. Are you sure you want to keep going? Like, I know these are pretty long. You sure you don't maybe want something else for a change? No, keep going. Right now, to my son, I'm reading him the Black Stallion books, and the first one was actually pretty good. And then the second one was horrible, and then the third one is so far a little better, but still not good, and there's about 20 more to go. So I'm really hoping he gets sick of them soon, because this series is crap, and I'm ready to move on.
All right, Ben. Well, you have the notes in front of you, too. Why don't you get my questions in front of you, and I have your questions. So why don't you ask me the next one, then I'll ask you, and we'll go back and forth, rapid fire.
Okay, do you like... when calling you by your last name, do people still say Mr. Anderson?
This happens all the time. I believe it's happened. I'd say this month. This literally happens all the time.
That's no one annoying.
Yeah, it's like the number one reference that people say to my name is Matrix quote.
Yeah.
All right. Ben, views that you still hold.
I wouldn't put it like that because for me the conversion is more in the sense of that I didn't like come to every Catholic position individually. It's that I came to the conviction that the Catholic Church's claims about itself as the historic church that Christ founded were true, and then from there I kind of studied different views and wrestled through them and all of that. When you convert, one of the things you say is that I believe all the Catholic Church holds to be true and revealed by God. And of course, people, we all struggle to live up to that ideal, but I very much strive to do that. So what I would say is, in the strict sense of that question, no, except for, of course, those that would overlap between Catholics and Protestants, which there's a great many. But I would say there's definitely things I appreciate about Protestantism, and things that I think Catholics can learn from Protestants. And I think even as a convert, I see that as being part of what I and other converts can bring to the church, is being those experiences of what it means to be a Christian, having lived out the faith in that way in a Protestant context, and how we can bring those things into the church. For example, like emphasis on reading the Bible and knowing the Bible, not just in what you hear on Sunday, but in terms of personal reading. And that's something a lot of Catholics don't have a high emphasis on. And so I think stuff like that, I would say, there's a ton I appreciate about my experience as a Protestant. But if we're talking dogma and doctrine, my idea would be to live up to that commitment, to hold to the truth of the Catholic Church. And so in a strict sense of the quotes, absolutely. There's a great deal that I appreciate and continue to draw on from my Protestant faith.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, when I read the question, I knew the answer has to be kind of.
Right.
Which is basically what you said, but
yeah, exactly.
Good.
Yeah, kind of. Oh, what do we got here? Did you ever swaddle your daughter and then tell your wife John Locke said that to be swaddled? Or did you just think it out loud?
This is a lost reference in John Locke that was talking about swaddling babies. And so this didn't exactly happen, but I've thought about it as I was swaddling my daughter before. In fact, I just thought about it recently, even though she's a little older now. My daughter and I were playing the other day, and she wanted to be kind of like wrapped up in a blanket like a burrito and just have me carry her around like that. And I thought about it just then. So this is like a week ago.
Yeah.
Or less than that. So to answer your question, I'll say yes, but mostly in my head.
I understand.
All right, Ben. I think we have only one question. Nope, two for you. Who's your favorite patron saint? Patron saint.
I mean, I got to go with Augustine. And I think even a lot of Protestants have read Confessions and have benefited from it enormously. I was not even remotely Catholic when I first read it.
Right.
And that's just a great book. So, Augustine, one of the doctors of the church, saint, great writer, bishop. Well, what more can you say about him?
Follow-up question. Do you think Saint Isidore, patron saint of computer programmers, gets confused when someone asks him for debugging help?
Yeah, there are some weird patron saints. Like, I think the patron saint of the internet is from, like, 200 AD, so he was probably really confused when that happened to him. I don't know. Yeah, probably. Unless, imagine in the light of the beatific vision that all of that is made clear to him. But yeah, I'd say that would probably throw him for a loop when that first happened anyway.
So we have a few people dropping out. So I see still hanging strong. CJ, you can give us a wave. I see you out there. I've got Aaron still on. Jordan still listening.
Well, maybe.
Sort of, or he left his computer on. Jordan, are you still there?
Oh, I'm still here. I'm still here. Yep,
oh,
I'm still. Yeah.
I see your room instead of you.
Well, I had to adjust where I was sitting because of the Wi-Fi.
I got you. All right, Ben, let's dive through.
Do you want me to share my favorite memories of the sci-fi?
No, let's save that. We gotta get through these questions.
Okay. Well, we don't have to do all of them tonight.
What? When are we gonna come back? Episode 100?
Okay.
So.
Well, should we start at the top?
Do you see these? Well, let's finish Brian's because he had 4 both. Remember?
Okay.
Let's do these quick. Ready?
Yeah.
I'll ask the questions, you do the answering, and I'll answer afterwards. What do you both do for a living, Ben?
I'm a database administrator with Oracle and SQL Server. I work from home independently. I do contract work.
I do fundraising and alumni relations for a Christian university just down the road from here.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, why do both of your wives have Minnesota accents? Okay, this question isn't just for Ben, for both of us.
Yeah.
So, to both of us, why do both of your wives have Minnesotan accents, but neither of you do?
Just like my grandfather, I've not done polygamy.
All right. I never noticed this.
Yeah. I don't know.
Do you feel like Annie has a Minnesotan accent?
No, and I've had people tell me that I do, so I don't. Don't you know?
I think in a sense I'm glad to know that I don't, but now that I'm hearing myself say don't, I feel like that does sound Minnesotan.
You keep those long O's in there.
All right, favorite board game?
Oh, there's a board game called Sushi Go that I like.
Okay. My answer is Settlers of Catan.
Yeah, that's the easy answer.
It's awesome. I mean, that's why it's. But as a kid growing up, oh yeah, CJ likes that. Yeah. Good. Growing up, I remember playing with my grandparents. Sorry.
I was gonna say Sorry too.
A lot of Sorry. So I do like that for. It's not as mentally taxing as Settlers, but
no, not quite.
But it's fun. Good memories. All right, Ben. Here's another question they have. Our daughter will be 1 year old by the time you record this. What is one piece of advice you'd give as we move from newborn to the toddler stage? You start.
I mean, the toddler stage is definitely stressful because they're now moving, like grabbing stuff. I'd say enjoy it as much as you can. It's hard sometimes. And I'm finding this that every age has its own challenges. But having two young ones, a baby and a toddler, and then two older ones, I can tell you that as they get older, it's really awesome because they're more independent. You don't have to be there all the time, but you're also going to really miss it. So in between the stress and the busyness of it, just make sure you take time to enjoy it.
You know, I was going to say a similar thing, but mostly because I ask this question a lot as I'm going out to work meetings or with friends. I always ask them, what's some parenting advice you'd give me? And I have a daughter who is going to be 2 here in late October, and I have not announced this on the show yet, but I'll do it right now.
Yeah.
We have another little girl on the way coming in January.
Another girl?
Yeah, January 2017.
Awesome.
Oh, I didn't tell you that?
No, I didn't know it was a girl.
Oh yeah, so I'm going to have another daughter in January 2017. So
I have to wait for the next baby to have the one named after me.
Exactly. You know, my wife, before we knew what we were having, boy or girl, my wife said she likes the name Benjamin. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
Benjamin DeBono Anderson?
Yeah. That's perfect.
So
it sounds like you and I got married.
So I ask this question a lot to people, what's your parenting advice? And I do hear people constantly say a similar version of what you said, which is spend as much time with your little one as possible. The years go by really quickly, so you don't want this time when they're young to just slip away. And things like get down on the floor with your kids and play with them, be interested in what they're interested in, all kind of revolving around the idea of don't let the days go by where you're just letting them do your thing and you're on the couch watching TV while they're playing around. Like, get down there with them and be with them while you can because they grow up so quickly. So I haven't fully experienced that yet because I only have a 2-year-old, but I mean, just to think that it's already been years is crazy to me.
When it will hit you is the second your new one is born, because the second you pick up that little baby, you will, it clicks like you wouldn't believe how much Lily has changed, and you know she's changed, but you don't realize it until you pick up a little one. You're like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah. So, Ben, if the state of Minnesota were struck by an asteroid the exact shape and size of Minnesota, forcing you to move elsewhere, where would you live or want to live?
I thought about this one a lot because I don't want to live anywhere else, not only than Minnesota, but I want to live like exactly where I live.
Oh, yeah, you've said this on the air before.
Yeah, I like my house. I like my office, so this would really suck. You know, people complain about the Minnesota weather. Oh, it's cold. But, like, you know, Brian and Melissa down there in Alabama, no thank you. It's so stinking hot down there. When it gets to 80 degrees, I'm miserable. So that would be a no-go. I thought about this, and I think I decided that would be horrible because Minnesota would be gone. But what I would do is I would gather the remaining survivors and we would stage a violent takeover of Wisconsin because that's a terrible state, and we would throw out all the Scotties and we'd set up new Minnesota there.
All right. I picked San Diego.
There's that.
All right. Let's come back to this fun. Well, I'll ask it really quick. He said, Brian said to us, have you thought about doing a fundraising week or a month of fundraising for the podcast for donations for us, not necessarily for the water fund? He says, I think a part of the reason you've raised more for charity with the water fund is visibility. Okay, I'm just going to cut to the chase. I don't think we've ever really thought about this. I don't really know if we'd do it, really. Think we would?
Maybe. I don't know.
Not that we're against fundraising. That's my job, but I don't know if we do it for the show. But good thinking.
Yeah,
What's your favorite?
Yeah, that's true. You do this for. How are we still paying the expenses for this?
I'm sorry. What's your favorite C.S. Lewis theology book?
Screw Tape Letters.
I picked Mere Christianity. One that people haven't thought of or heard of as often. I'd go with Letters to Malcolm.
Chiefly on prayer.
Chiefly on prayer. Did you like my review?
No,
Okay.
I didn't read it.
Oh, you should read my review on Goodreads. Number 8. If you were a week off from work with an all expenses paid vacation, where would you go?
Now, people might think I don't. I'd want to look at sucks. Italy. I'm Italian by descent. You have Dante there. You have the Vatican. I mean, Dante's not living there, obviously, but you got anymore. But you got his tomb and whatnot. You got Florence, where he lived and wrote. So yeah, I'd go with Italy.
This is a great answer, and it's in my top 5. But my number 1 choice is London.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. I think is this the last one? Yes, last one. Which superpower would you rather have? These are 2 bizarre powers. Are you ready, Ben?
Yeah.
Telekinesis that only works on potatoes, or mind control that only works on people with the last name Johnson.
Well, definitely the Johnson one.
I'd definitely go with telekinesis.
Why?
I just feel like it'd be more useful. I don't really see myself as some.
There's probably some bad people named Johnson. You could be a real superhero. You stop killers and murderers named Johnson.
Myself as the mind.
You can do more good with that one.
All right, let's go up to the top, and so we have let's see, torn. Next set of questions, Ben.
Yeah.
I have a call that we're gonna make.
Okay.
This is a listener / real life friend. His name is Jake, and he sent us 3 questions, and we're gonna get him on the phone. I've just been texting with him to make sure he's available. So this shouldn't. Hopefully this isn't weird. Hopefully it works out just great. Ringing on Jake right now.
Okay.
Listener, CJ, I can see you on the video. Can you hear the phone ringing?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
Hello?
Hello, Jake. You're on the Sci-Fi Christian live with
Jake.
Ben DeBono and Matt Anderson.
Ooh, I'm honored.
All right. So do you remember the 3 questions you asked, or do you want me to just read them?
You better read them.
All right. Well, do you have anything you want to say on the show then? I know you've, of all my, this is not an exaggeration. I've had lots of friends I know in real life that have listened to the show here and there, but for people that I knew, people that knew me before they started listening to the podcast, as opposed to like we're real life friends with Aaron and Alan, but they met us through the podcast.
Right.
Jake is my only friend who's been consistent. We had Daniel Butcher who was listening for a while.
What about Sam?
Well, Sam just started listening recently. Jake's been listening for years.
Oh.
Remember Daniel Butcher, who was on the show for a while? He stopped listening.
Right.
Sam, who started listening recently. So, Sam, shout out. Thanks for listening. But, Jake, thanks for your loyalty.
Well, thank you guys for doing the podcast. Congrats on 500.
Thank you. Hello.
So, you guys are meeting for the first time. Wait, no. Have you guys been to movies together, Jake? Have you guys met in real life?
No. I haven't met them, no.
I'm not usually allowed to go to movies the first time when you go with your other friends.
That's true. Jake, I was talking to you recently about my idea that, I mean, should we cut out the news episodes? I don't know how people like them. It's more just kind of like...
Oh, I love doing the news episodes.
I know. I was talking to Jake about this, and Jake, what did you say about that?
I said keep them because that's how I that's how I learn about things. It's kind of my one true source of learning things and catching up on the latest whatever is happening movies-wise or TV-wise. So I say keep them.
Alan just sent to us in Facebook Messenger in all caps, keep the news.
Okay.
So
perfect.
I'm strongly against cutting out news.
I wasn't strongly for it. I was just considering as we look forward into the future? How can
man.
how can we do less podcasting?
Terrible idea.
All right, Jake, you have 3 questions, all great. I'm going to mention that you work at a library because some of these are literary focused. But the first one is this: what is one sci-fi thing you wished your co-host was more into? Mine's obvious.
Well, I thought we should guess each other's.
Okay.
I'm going to guess that you think I should be more into comic books.
That is correct. I put comic books and or superhero movies. I just think I would have more fun if you also enjoyed them. Like, I think my life would be better if you if you like this.
I would enjoy good ones.
Okay, I think you picked either old movies or old books or both.
No.
What?
Horror movies.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like horror movies.
Right.
That should have been obvious.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, I feel like you're very open to old movies and old books.
Good. All right. Number 2, how do you feel about the present condition of the science fiction genre? Is there still quality storytelling coming from the genre? Now, Jake, were you meaning in books or across the medium?
I'd say across the medium.
Okay.
I think there is.
So there is quality storytelling.
Yeah.
Okay.
I in terms of books, like I kind of let Sturgeon's law take effect, which is Sturgeon's law: 90% of everything is crap. So since books take more of an effort, I tend not to read a lot of new releases in the genre. Wait for time to go by and see what holds up after 5-10 years. But in terms of movies, like, yeah, the big blockbusters maybe are failing left and right. Independence Day Resurgence fails. Batman v Superman was an atrocity. But then you also have stuff like Ex Machina that came out a couple years ago, was fantastic. I just watched The Lobster, which is not strictly science fiction, but kind of a weird fantasy type thing, and that was really good. This movie, The Arrival, that's coming out in a couple months, is just being showered with praise. So there's great stuff being made. If you're only paying attention to the huge releases, it probably doesn't seem like it, but there is really good stuff that's happening.
Yeah, for some of the stuff I've been seeing out there, I feel like we're seeing a focus more on the young adult type sci-fi, or maybe sci-fi with a comedic bent, rather than more serious stuff that has since become classics. Yeah, so I think there is still quality storytelling coming out right now, but like Ben's saying, it's more underground or independent films, and that's where it's up. Or when it comes to books, I think you're more in the loop on current books that are coming out.
I read about what's going on with them. I don't read many of them as they're coming out, just because it takes too much effort. Wait to see what happens with them over time.
Have a small theory, and I don't know if this is real or if this is just dumb, but I'm wondering if, because comic books are easier to get made, I'm wondering if some ideas that maybe in the past people would have had to have pushed for a while to get them into a film or get them into a book, if people are just cutting to the chase and getting them out there in an independent comic book form instead.
Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Because from what I've heard, it's easier to, a lot of pilots to TV shows or screenplays that aren't able to get made eventually become comic books in some sort of independent fashion.
Right.
All right, last question, Jake. You had asked, how do you feel about the future of science fiction, patterns or themes you see becoming a bigger influence? Do you mind if I start?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, let's see. I'm thinking, just based on what I'm seeing right now, that we are starting to move into a new, I'm just going to say fad, even though it doesn't necessarily have to be negative, but we've had this fad where it was a lot of vampires, and then we saw zombies were really big.
Yep.
And I think most recently we had dystopian stories.
Yep.
And I think where we're moving into is alternate universes or alternate histories, but something around this multiverse type thing. I think we're going to see a lot more of those parallel universe stories coming out in abundance. That's my prediction.
What are you basing that on?
Just
a feeling?
Just my ear to the ground.
Just a hunch. Just what you'd like to see.
Exactly. All right, go ahead. What do you think?
I actually think you might not be far off on if what I think is going to happen does happen. I think that if the Dark Tower movie is good, it's going to be a much-needed corrective to big-scale science fiction fantasy in a major way. The budget on that thing is only $60 million, so studios, if it's good, and successful, which are obviously big ifs at this stage. But it's going to show studios that they don't need to have 180, 250 million dollar budgets to have huge hits. It's going to bring back kind of this mid-range budget stuff, and then because Hollywood always learns the wrong lessons from these things, because there is parallel universe stuff going on in the Dark Tower, it's going to bring some of that into the forefront. Not to say that I don't want more of it, but Hollywood's going to say, oh, that was successful because it was a parallel universe, not because it was well told and well acted. And those are always the lessons that Hollywood learns. That's why you have vampire fads and zombie fads. And so if it does prove to be that, I think there's a good chance that you could be right on that.
Wait a second. So you're questioning me, but then your answer is the same as mine?
No. My question to you is, what are you basing that on? And you had no answer.
It's my ear to the ground.
No, it's just it's just what you want to see happen. You have no evidence.
No,
I have evidence. I pointed to a project and said, if this is successful, this will happen.
No, I've seen things.
You have zero evidence.
I'll give
What have you seen?
The Flash, for example. The Flash was a popular story that involved, the TV show had the multiverse. We also saw a popular Amazon Prime show, The Man in the High Castle, which is alternate history. So that's what I'm saying. Some sort of this multiverse thing is happening right now already. I think it's going to get even bigger.
Yeah, but where have you seen that then having influence on other things?
Exactly. This is having influence right now.
Okay. Right.
All right. Jake, I'm going to hang up on you, but thanks for being on the show.
Yep, thank you, Jake.
All right, thanks for having me.
I'll see you. I just hung up on him. I'm sorry, Jake. I'll see you next week. Jake's in my Bible study.
All right.
I'm unplugging my phone. All right. So, Ben.
Yeah.
I see the clock. My wife is going to be here in just over 10 minutes.
Yep.
So I'm going to start to dive through these. It's going to be a little easier now because Jesse's next question is going to be a whole episode. He asked about when you decided, this is for Ben, when you decided that sola scriptura was inadequate and that church traditions was a necessary part of theology, why did you join the Catholic Church and not the Eastern Orthodox Church? We will be talking about that on a future episode. So I'll reread this question, Jesse, on that episode. But
and then he asks about tradition as well, and we're going to do a tradition episode before that one. So, Jesse, both your questions are going to be answered. They're very good questions, and we will get back to them.
He does have 3 questions, though, that we can talk about right now. Ben, what do you think of Victor Hugo?
Only thing I've read from him is Les Mis. Very good, very long. But yeah, it's a good book.
I've never read Victor Hugo. I'm sorry. Who is your favorite theologian, teacher? Yeah,
theologian?
Teacher, pastor from church history. No, I have modern and classic ones. Who do you have? Both?
Yeah. So Augustine, Aquinas. There's a medieval mystic called Johannes Tauler that I like a lot. More recently, Karl Barth. CJ wants to ask us a question.
Did you want to ask a question, CJ?
Yeah, I did. I didn't mean to interrupt the answers you were just giving.
Okay.
Wow, that was so rude. I've never seen anybody be so rude on this podcast before.
I know. I came on and I told you I was doing my own water project, and I'm interrupting your answers. I'm the worst.
He just brings up the water project.
Oh,
again.
good. Okay. Wait, hold on. Here. Everybody go to oneday'swages.org/the sci-fi Christian. That's oneday'swages.org/the sci-fi Christian, where you could give to our water fund as opposed to CJ's lackluster water fund.
Right.
Theirs is a really good water fund, and I've given to it, and it does indeed make you feel good.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Did you have something you wanted to say about Victor Hugo or our favorite theologians?
No, it wasn't related to the question you were answering. I didn't think you guys would get back to me that quickly.
I'll answer this real quick, and then we'll come back to you, CJ. For my classics, I'm going to go classic and then modern. You got to love Paul of Tarsus.
Jesus is big. No, I like Jesus a lot.
But here's some other ones. This is interesting. Even though these two guys have opposing viewpoints, I found that when I was studying theology, I liked both John Calvin and John Wesley.
Martin Luther there.
Oh, just to mess with you? No. I actually did consider it as a joke, but I didn't want to go there. So, but those guys do not agree, so I like aspects of what they say.
I'm not a John Calvin fan either.
Are you familiar with Brother Lawrence?
Yeah.
He has this book called Practicing the Presence of God that I found to be really influential on me. Modern, I'd go with C.S. Lewis, of course. I love him. NT Wright. Can't believe you didn't say him.
NT Wright.
Now these are, I know these guys are more under the leader, teacher, pastor area, but Andy Stanley is like my favorite pastor to listen to online. Fan or do you not listen to Andy Stanley?
I don't listen to Andy Stanley. I mainly stick with the Catholics.
Oh, that makes sense. And as authors go, Christian author I like is Donald Miller. So there it is. Those are my answers. So CJ,
ask away.
Ask away.
Okay, do you guys have any like unconventional or unorthodox ideas about God or theology that might be considered heretical within your Christian circles?
What I'm going to admit to here.
I'm sure I do.
I'd have to think about that.
Well, I mean, the stuff that we believe about Genesis 1, I don't think everybody that would be in my circles would believe that.
Yeah, but for me, that wouldn't be. There's Catholics who would believe it. Catholics who wouldn't. But
Are you allowed to? Well, if you want me to edit this out of the actual episode, I will. But theistic evolution, and I think I'd be opposed to that.
Yeah, but the way I mean it, that's compatible with Catholic teaching.
Okay.
That's a really good question. I have to think about that more. I think there's always areas of doubt and areas you struggle with. Gosh, I don't know. I got to think about that.
Hey, while you're thinking about that, CJ, have you heard our episode on Genesis 1?
Oh, yeah. I think I've worked my way through your whole catalog now.
Oh, so, yeah. Well, let me ask you the questions I asked last year then.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Wait. All right.
You could just, off the top of your head, first things that come to your mind. You ready? What year did you start listening?
2013.
Okay. Something that you'd like us to discuss in the future?
Views that you each have that are controversial or unorthodox.
I like that would actually be a good episode.
All right. How did you find the Sci-Fi Christian?
Oh, how did I stumble on you guys? I honestly don't remember. I probably typed in a search for like the Star Wars prequels and an episode came up, or the Lord of the Rings and an episode came up, and then I just started following you guys.
Somebody said earlier today that, I think it was Brandon, he was saying that he looks at the titles and decides if he wants to, and that's kind of bad because we go out of our way to make weird titles for episodes.
I was just going to think that was good because we make great titles.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think it is good because it helps your podcast stand out, because a lot of times it'll just be the title of what's being discussed, and that doesn't grab your attention like Tolkien about The Hobbit.
Oh, right. That was good.
Right.
That was good. All right, let's see. What was your favorite episode or topic from the past?
Oh, man, that's a good one. I really enjoyed going through Dante. I haven't read it yet, even though I won that book about how Dante can save your life. So that's on my 2017 to-do list. I love when you guys talk about Tolkien. I really loved Ben's show about kind of redeeming George Lucas and giving him a break. I thought that was excellent, especially because I'm a big fan of the prequels. So, I thought that was excellent.
It was not a defense of the prequel. Let's get the
Yeah, but as a fan of the prequels, I grasp at straws constantly. So that was nice. That was a nice olive branch.
And lastly, and in case listeners don't know, these are the questions I ask people when I find out they've heard every episode. If you could be Ben or Matt for a day, who would you be and why?
Oh, man. That's a good question. I feel like my sensibilities and personalities align much better, like much more clearly with Matt. So if I was Matt for a day, it would be like a nice, comfortable day where I could just kind of be myself, and I could be Matt. Nobody would know the wiser. But to be Ben for a day and get away with whatever would be kind of cool too. And I am a big beer fan.
He doesn't.
So.
Oh. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Do you drink? Is it Spotted Cow that you guys have up that way? I think it's from the Scotties, as you called them.
No, I can't stand Spotted Cow.
Oh man, that's one of the only beers I've had from up in that region. I actually like it.
No, Scotty beer. 2 thumbs down.
Okay. Well, just send me a case of whatever you like best, Ben.
I should do that. I tell you what, I'll send. You send me your address, I will send you a couple of Minnesota beers and some homebrew sometime.
Whoa.
That would be amazing. I'm definitely going to do that.
This is not open to everyone. Listeners, don't think that we can send beer to everyone.
Yes, I will drink them in moderation, one at a time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You don't want to be double fisting it. 1, 2, 3, one after another, one at a time.
All right.
I shared. That'll be 4 different listeners I've shared beer with. So
Wow.
going into the rainy. Oh, maybe I'm not supposed
Ben,
to.
have you had Yingling's Lager?
Yeah. Text us if you need us at that.
I haven't. I'm not a huge lager Pilsner guy, but I've heard that one is better. That's mainly available on the East Coast.
I will make you a deal. If you send me some, I'll send you some.
Whoa,
perfect. Let's do it.
Crazy if this is happening right now.
Yeah, send me your address and the styles you like, and I'll get you some good stuff.
All right, excellent. Matt, I'm sorry we're talking so much about beer.
You're so generous here, but when I ask you to give to the water fund, Ben,
I gave $3.
All right. And where do you want to go next?
Well, somebody asked me if I agreed with a ranking of Stanley Kubrick movies.
Yeah,
you put this in the document. I don't know if this was for this episode.
Yeah, you were supposed to follow the link and then tell me if you agreed. Did you agree?
Well, so their ranking.
Kyle Watson sent this into us.
So I have this ready. Their rankings in descending order. So I don't know why they did not top 10, but top 7. They did Full Metal Jacket at 7, Clockwork Orange, The Shining, The Killing, Paths of Glory, Doctor Strangelove, 2001. Only one I strongly disagree with on there is The Killing. Good movie, or near as good as his later stuff. And then I would swap Full Metal Jacket out for Barry Lyndon. So my top 7 would go Barry Lyndon, Doctor Strangelove, Paths of Glory, Eyes Wide Shut, The Shining, Clockwork Orange, and 2001.
Awesome. Now Fred wrote in and had a great question. We know sci-fi is dominated by skeptics and people generally hostile to organized religion, but can you name 5 sci-fi stories in any medium that assume a Christian worldview and are not written by C.S. Lewis or any of the Inklings? So can I? My answer is no. Ben?
Oh yeah, I thought of a bunch.
I was kind of in a hurry as I got down to this last question, so I just put no. Sorry, Fred, but we got something from Ben, so go.
Well, worldview, that's kind of a tough one to exactly say what is and isn't in line with that. So not all of these are sci-fi, but I'll give you a few. So obviously the obvious ones, Dante, Paradise Lost, you get those out of the way. And the more recent, several Stephen King novels. I'm an Orthodox Christian or anything, but certainly he has a number of novels that are written from something very close to a Christian worldview. The Stand, Desperation, The Green Mile. Some of these aren't sci-fi, but I wrote them down anyway. The movie Calvary, starring Brendan Gleeson, is just phenomenal. Anything by Dostoevsky, The Idiot, Brothers Karamazov, Crime and Punishment. In fact, my second favorite director outside of Stanley Kubrick is Andre, who is probably being the movie, not the one with George Clooney, but the original one. He's a great director. So Andrei Tarkovsky's stuff all has to do with God, and what's even more remarkable is that 5 of his 7 films were made under communism, and so he was fighting with censors the whole time and having to go, with metaphors and everything. But Solaris has a ton underneath the surface to do with God and encountering God. My favorite film of his is Andrei Rublev, who is famous Russian icon painter. If you've ever seen the famous icon of the Trinity, and if you Googled it, you recognize it right away. That, I think, is my number 2 movie of all time after 2001. His movie Nostalgia. But his most sci-fi one, well, Solaris is sci-fi, but Stalker. Go see Stalker if you haven't seen it. That is a great movie.
I thought Tree of Life was your favorite movie.
No, it's up there. I'd say Tree of Life is top 20 for me. The Exorcist. I can't think of another movie that assumes such an explicitly Catholic worldview, especially it was made by an agnostic, though William Peter Blatty, who wrote the screenplay in the original novel, is Catholic. The Passion of Joan of Fire is a film. Tree of Life, though all of Malik's stuff has to do with God in one way or another, but his more recent stuff has gotten more explicit with that. Tree of Life, To the Wonder, Knight of Cups. I'd also put in the Coen Brothers' A Simple Man. Obviously, they're Jewish, not Christian, but it's a take on the Book of Job. Very funny. Love it. Eric Rohmer's Six Moral Tales. 6 great movies, and then Bresson's films Pickpocket and Ahuzard al-Balthazar both come from at least a Catholic mindset, though I think he described himself as a Catholic atheist, whatever that means.
All right, listeners, we're going to be wrapping up soon. We have one long list of quick questions and one short list with 2 questions. Let's do the 2 last. We'll do the rapid fire ones now. So when Andy wrote in and gave us these rapid-fire questions, he gave us the option to say "and why."
Right.
I'm going to not take that option.
Okay.
Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
So Andy wrote in tons of questions. Just read your own question, and then we'll answer them. Okay.
All right. Favorite beer? Stone's Enjoy by IPA.
He asked me my favorite Nintendo video game. I'm going classic Nintendo, and for nostalgia purposes, I'd say Bubble Bobble.
Oh.
I remember then also I had a lot of fun in college playing Dr. Mario.
Right. A favorite ride at Disney World? The bus back to the airport.
He asked me what my favorite Sandra Bullock movie was based on a conversation from a few weeks ago, and actually
Too many to choose from.
The answer to that question, I do like some of her romantic comedies, so I'll go with either 2 weeks this or we went there. Ben.
For both. No, this is for both of us.
Both, okay.
Favorite of the Bible.
Oh, okay.
Ecclesiastes.
Nice. Well, I mean, for gospel, you have to go with Matthew, of course. Not just because it's named after me, because it's awesome. I do like the book of Philippians, but when it comes to Old Testament, I like all the stuff that's going on when it comes to the Samuels, the Kings, the Chronicles. That long story, that's good. So,
right.
It's pretty tough for me to pick a favorite. That's why I keep giving multiples. So hopefully that answers it. Okay, go ahead.
Favorite squirrel activity? I mean, everything they do is great, but I'd say anytime they're hanging off stuff, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Little gymnasts.
I tried to take a picture of a squirrel when I was out for a run the other day so I could send it to you, and that crazy guy was too fast.
Yeah, they are pretty fast.
He asked me what the best marriage book I've read is, and I honestly think The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman is a great book everyone should read. It helps you understand how people feel love, there's 5 different ways people can express and receive love, and
Would you say they like languages?
Different languages,
right?
And
languages.
Yeah, they help you express love.
Okay.
So I was gonna tell him, sorry, not right now. I feel like you want me to move along. Let's do it. Do you know what they are even? Or you try to name them.
Touching.
Physical touch. That's one.
Gifts.
Yep, gifts.
Acts of service.
Acts of service.
Words. Defamation.
Nope. Words of affirmation.
And
quality time.
Quality time.
Yeah. So your spouse or your kids, they like to be loved in one of these ways. So you have to figure out.
Right. So they speak a
certain language. Yeah. So you have to figure it out so that they can feel loved.
Right.
Good. All right. Go ahead, Ben.
Favorite living film director. Now this is an interesting question because they mean greatest director who's still alive. In which case it would probably have to be, even though I'm not a huge fan of his, but Jean-Luc Godard is probably the greatest film director who's still alive. But if you mean people are still producing great stuff today, I can't name just one. So I'd say Steve McQueen, Hunger, 12 Years a Slave, and Shame, 3 of the best movies of this century. Terrence Malick, I already mentioned, Wes Anderson, and Coen Brothers.
All right, he asked me my favorite comic book series. I mean, I have to go classic with Marvel, The Amazing Spider-Man, but if I'm going independent, I'd say a lesser-known comic book series called Morning Glories.
Yeah, that's because Damon Lindelof recommended that to you.
He did.
Yeah. Favorite Bible character? This is both of us again. I'm going to say Job.
Well, he said, but not God, Jesus,
right.
Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
I really respect Old Testament Joseph. Not so much just joking. He's fine too. But Old Testament Joseph, that's the one I go with. But I've always been drawn to Gideon. So it's tough to pick between those two.
Right.
Do you have a preference between Joseph or Gideon?
I'd have to say Joseph.
All right.
You know who else was pretty cool is Ehud when he stabs the fat king.
That's right.
I always tell that story at confirmation.
He's
Kids just love it.
He's like one of the first spies.
Well, yeah. He sneaks a sword in there. the sword gets lost in the king's fat. It's amazing.
I know the story. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
good.
great.
All right, Ben.
Ideal vacation destination. I already answered this. Italy. Not. I mean, that's not Andy's fault.
Yeah.
Did you know we're gonna meet Andy? By the way,
No, when?
he's coming to 2001.
What? You never told me that.
Yeah. Well, it was on Facebook.
I don't think I know Andy personally. Do you know him
No.
personally? Oh, so we're meeting him for the
Yeah,
first time there.
we're gonna meet Andy.
Oh, okay. We should meet up before so we can go and sit at the movie together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna get there like 45 minutes early and get us seats.
Great. So people might not know this unless you're a long-time listener, but growing up in high school, I was a huge professional wrestling fan. That was
Right.
as much as I loved Lost, I used to love professional wrestling. So
What's next?
So Andy asked me who's my favorite wrestler. Shawn Michaels, by far. I don't know if you know him, but he eventually became a Christian. So I have his autobiography up there.
You have Hulk Hogan's autobiography.
I do. I was just talking to you off the air about if I went to a book signing, and I don't actually want to read the book, but I have a book signed by Hulk Hogan, and I'm keeping it more as a memorabilia. Do I have to include that in my reading goal? Like, do I have to read that or get rid of it? And you said
you can. Well, you don't have to do either. It can be not part of your goal.
It's not part of the goal.
It's just a souvenir.
Just a souvenir. All right.
I mean, because let's be honest, how good of a writer do you think Hulk Hogan is?
I'm sure he's a ghostwriter, don't you think?
Well, yeah, but that's never a good sign.
All right, we got. I just got a text from my wife. She'll be here in mere moments.
Okay.
So let's dive through the rest of these questions, and everyone listening, we're gonna give you a chance to say goodbye, and then we're out of here.
All right. Most traumatic experience raising your children when Charles spilled coffee on himself and had to go to the burn unit. Yeah, that was rough.
Really sad. They asked me the opposite question. Most joyful experience.
Wow, what's up with that?
Raising your daughter. You know, it's awesome. I was thinking about this. I mean, there's been so many great times. I love when she's being sweet and loving and she's hugging me and snuggling in. But something funny that happened recently, I don't remember exactly what she did, but it was sort of just a game we were playing where she did something that I thought was funny and she thought was funny, but maybe most people wouldn't necessarily think this is funny. And it hit me as we were both laughing. She gets me. Like, this little daughter of mine gets my sense of humor, which is crazy because she's not even 2.
Right.
And most people don't get my sense of humor.
I understand.
So, okay, life verse, Ben, for both of us.
Well, I put down 2 Timothy 2:3, suffer hardship with me as a good soldier of Christ Jesus.
Oh, I like it. I don't have a life verse, but I do have a verse that I really like.
Leviticus 18.
I don't know that one.
Oh, I'll look it up later. Bible study.
Isaiah 26:3. You keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. Trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord God is an everlasting rock. All right, Ben. Favorite children's picture book?
How do dinosaurs say goodnight? It's a classic.
Then he asked me my favorite holiday. Christmas, for sure. Easy.
Favorite food? Prime rib with mushrooms.
Whoa, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Interesting. He asked me my favorite worship song. I don't know. This is more of a hymn, but I really like "Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing."
Yeah.
Okay, Ben.
Favorite quote. I don't know if I have a favorite quote. I found this one by Mark Twain that I like, where he says, "Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect."
I think
that's true.
All right, 2 more questions, and we're about to say goodbye. So let's do 2 first and then 1 last, because that will be the big announcement. You got Robin's questions here?
Nope.
So right in the middle of the document.
Oh.
I skipped those 2 that were from Mike and from the anonymous.
Oh, yeah, so he was asking us if we could go back, send our X-Files excavation back in time to before we started rewatching the series. Would we do it? I'd say absolutely not.
Yeah, I'd say absolutely not, too. I love doing the excavation.
Wait. What are we saying absolutely not to?
I'm saying absolutely not. I would not undo it.
I'm saying absolutely not. I would not do it.
You would not. You would not stop doing it.
I wouldn't excavate. I would say let's not do those episodes.
Oh no, I'm really glad we did.
Yeah, I'd want to change the past.
I would not want to change the past. I like it just the way. I know we have 14 episodes of X-Files, but it got me to rewatch a show I loved as a high schooler.
Yeah, but now we have bad memories of it. Like, it was good in our memories.
Yeah, that's true, but it helped me understand the story better. I think we did.
No, it didn't. Wikipedia helped us understand the story better. We didn't understand the story at all from those episodes.
I'm glad we did it. Okay, next question he had here in that paragraph is, if you're forced to watch one again, would you rather watch the most recent season of X-Files or Heroes Reborn?
Oh, yes, recent season.
I picked Heroes Reborn, but hear me out. The reason I picked it is because I've seen the most recent season of X-Files, and I haven't seen Heroes Reborn, so I'd rather experience something new than experience something I didn't like again.
Well, I haven't experienced into an outhouse, but I guess using your logic.
All right, last question of the night, everybody. Robin says, I've been increasingly concerned with Matt's comments about leaving the podcast, but I can imagine having a young family is time-consuming, and if the podcast is eating into family time, it's fair enough if he has to call it a day, assuming this isn't another running joke like Kobe being a real person or not.
Yeah.
Is this a running joke? Ben, what do you think?
I think you're sticking around.
I mean, I think
it's not entirely a joke.
Yeah, it's not exactly a joke. In fact, the way I'd answer is only a little. It's only a little a joke.
Right.
Like I do a lot think about what am I gonna do, like, especially now with the second baby coming out.
We'll figure it out.
I don't know how long I can keep going, but especially since none of the listeners, not none, but a lot of the listeners didn't join us with donating to that water fund.
Right.
Kind of makes me realize they don't care about me. So
CJ's gonna go take out a loan now because we've made him feel so bad.
So no,
go get us to 5,000.
I wouldn't be shocked if I eventually stopped doing this show.
No.
But I'll give you an advance warning, Ben. You'll know before anyone else.
Oh, good.
Except for Des.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd say there's a good chance I'll stop it before Ben wants me to stop, but not today.
Right.
We'll make it past 500.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think what we've talked about is that we'd look at other options first, like reducing our schedule or something like that. Some is better than none. Even a once-a-month sci-fi Christian is better than no sci-fi
I could do once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what that means?
What's that mean?
You're sticking around. What I told you, that if you re-upped past episode 500, I was going to go back and start watching Heroes again.
All right, there it is.
Heroes Season 3 rant upcoming.
All right, that's great. So I'm not going to commit to any length of time, but at least I made it past 500.
Well, the second you tell me you're out, I'm not watching a single more second of that
okay.
ridiculous show. All
right, let's bring everybody on. Just going to go across in order and let them say goodbye. So I'm bring up the Rainies first. So Rainies, get ready to say goodbye.
We're here.
Goodbye.
Right. And congratulations on 500 episodes. And, man, everybody give to that water fund. Drive Ben crazy by doing odd amounts.
That's not cool, guys.
Yeah, everybody go to
not cool.
onedayswages.org/the sci-fi Christian.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging in there with us all night, guys.
It was a blast.
Yeah, this was great. Awesome episode, guys.
All right, see you in
Thank you.
October. I'm going over to the Cozers. Brian and Melissa, you are on.
All right.
All right, guys. We really enjoyed listening to you guys and talking to you.
Yep. Congrats on getting to 500. I know that's a lot of work.
And it's a relief to hear that Matt will hang around a little longer.
Yeah. Can you imagine me doing this show solo? Today we're going to talk about Batman v Superman again.
What was it like listening live?
It was a little bit choppy, especially for you guys. Like, we could hear Jordan over in Australia pretty well, but you guys kept jumping in and out.
It's not good.
That's not good at all.
But
we'll go fill in the gaps. Listen to the episode.
It's been really fun listening to you guys and feeling like we're actually in the same room with you, though.
Can you see our video?
Yay, technology.
Can you see the video of us? I'm waving at you guys right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See? That's pretty cool. All right, well, let's go over to... Well, thank you, guys. Thanks, Brian and Melissa. We're going to go over to CJ.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks again, guys, for what you do. I think it's immensely important, especially the way Christianity intersects culture. It doesn't always get represented well. And you guys are just awesome. I love listening to your show, and I think the things that you bring to the table are excellent. So please keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, Jordan in Australia. We see you still there.
Yes, I'm still here. Congratulations, guys, on 500 episodes. That's a huge achievement, and I really look forward to the next 500.
Well, thank you, and come back to Minnesota sometime. We can hang out again.
We'll try to do that.
Good. All right. I'm going to shut down Google Hangouts, and then we can close out this show. So I think I'm going to stop. So do I stop broadcast?
Yeah, stop broadcast. Don't you want to just... Well, why don't we hang on through the outro?
Oh, yeah,
they want to see the outro.
Yeah, you guys want to hear the music? All right, that's good. So, everybody, thanks so much for joining us on this long episode 500. We especially want to give a shout-out to everyone who actually joined us live.
Right.
So thank you to that. But, if you're out there listening, podcast couldn't make it tonight, no big deal. We also want to thank everybody that sent in your questions ahead of time. Really appreciate that as well. And to all of our listeners around the world, these last 500 episodes have been for you.
Right.
And for us sometimes,
Yeah.
but also for you. Ben, any last words? 500?
To the next 500. No pressure.
Yeah, maybe. All right, well, let's hit that music. Here it comes, I think. Yep, there we go.
All right.
Well, everybody, that's all from here. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for being here for 500 episodes.
You're supposed to say, you can't change what you say. You have to say, I'm Matt Anderson.
Well, that's all from here. I'm Matt
And
Anderson.
I'm Ben DeBono.
We are the Sci-Fi Christians, signing off.
Yeah, goodbye. A big after show stretch.
I just realized we said we were going to call Rick and talk to him for a second and then just hang up on him when my wife gets here.
Okay. Does Rick know we're going to call him?
Nope. He's going to be totally surprised. He's going to be like, what's happening?
I can understand that.
It's fun to do things sometimes. Hey, if you're still there, everybody, you're in for a special treat.
Rick Lee James.
One of our listeners is getting called and doesn't even know it. Let's say he won something.
Okay.
No, let's not, because I don't have anything to give him.
Hello?
Surprise! You're on the Sci-Fi Christian.
Well, hey, Sci-Fi Christian.
Ben, you want to say anything to him?
Hi, Rick. Well, this is the... we just finished episode 500.
But you're still on live, so you can't say anything inappropriate.
Oh, okay. Well, you know me, I'm always saying inappropriate things.
Yeah.
So, Rick, I mean, when I was looking through our list of things we want to talk about, we read some of your answers to questions that were supposed to be read on episode 400, but I got them a little bit after we recorded episode 400. So here, a year later, we finally were able to answer your question. So that's something you can look forward to when you listen to episode 500.
Well, that's fantastic. I'll be looking forward to hearing that for sure. I'm excited. 500 episodes. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
If you really meant it, you would have shown up to our live stream earlier.
That's true.
I tried, actually. I tried numerous
boy.
times. I was doing something wrong, apparently.
No, it's okay. No, we won't keep you. I just wanted to say hi since it's episode 500 and we're pulling out all the stops. We're just calling people like crazy.
Just working our way through the phone book.
Yep. So.
Good. Well, I'm glad to be a part of it. That's fantastic.
So if you do want to just listen to your part, all you have to do is fast forward to the episode 500. It's pretty lengthy episode. So.
Yeah, a couple hours.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna hang up. See you later.
Okay. All right.
Wait,
Congratulations, you guys.
Anything you want to plug or talk about?
Just everything me. Rick Lee James music, podcast, all that stuff. But mostly you guys. I'm just celebrating you guys tonight. That's awesome.
Hey, how come I haven't been on Voices in Your Head in like 2 years? And Ben is always on.
I haven't been on in a long time either.
Neither of you have been on in a while. You need to both come back on. You have a formal invitation from me.
Let's just do a crossover episode again.
This is it.
Right
Why
now.
don't you just post this in your feed, Rick?
Yeah, I'll send you the MP3.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, have a good night. See you later.
You good night.
Bye.
Yeah.
I did have some notes I meant to read. This is just for interesting sake.
Okay.
We're still on. Taking you home? 2012.
Oh, that was fortuitous timing.
Episode 200 was released on October 29th, 2013. Not listening to these date changes.
Well, my phone says it's 12:55 p.m. I'm trying to figure out what happened.
Released on November 9th, 2014. Okay.
Yep.
Episode 400 was released on October 7th, 2015.
Oh, we're getting faster.
We are getting faster. And here we are, episode 500 being recorded on September 6th, 2016.
See, that's why you shouldn't stress about the show, because we have a fast current pace, but we could slow down quite a bit.
I know, we do 2 to 3 episodes a week.
Right. Yeah, so if we cut that in half, we did 1 episode a week, and we record every other week, I mean, you'd be fine.
That's something to think about. Well, Ben, let's shake hands.
Okay.
Great being here with you for not quite
Wait
500,
here so they can see it.
500 episodes.
No, I took a little breather.
But
So
for
maybe
most
you'll
of them.
take a breather.
Yeah, why don't I just take a year off like you did?
I'll just lose all of our listeners, and then you can come back and help me rebuild the show.
It does kind of feel like we had season 1,
Yeah.
and season 2 you weren't around. And
It felt like we came back better.
yeah, it's been a good year.
Yeah.
All right, I think there's no better way to end than saying so long, folks.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are
if
we
you're there
quitting for
live,
real?
yeah, if you guys are listening live, that
Are
was
we gonna go through everybody and say goodbye again?
no, that was the end. So often on this, I'll say so long, folks, and Ben will say goodbye, and that's how I end post-credit scenes. That's the actual end.
Right.
This is just for you guys live, but I am gonna hang up. Oh yeah. Okay.
And close.
All right, everybody. Thanks again. We
Yeah.
are shutting it out. Goodbye.
Yeah. Right. And then you gotta hang up on your iPad.